The Bankfun Off-Road Championship proves to be one of the most hotly contested championships in South African motorsport, with many of the title battles going down to the wire in the special and production vehicle categories. Nissan dominated the production vehicle championship, and consistency paid off for veterans Greg Harvey and Boy Stone in the special vehicle category. For some, the championship turned into a disaster. The Bankfun Off-Road Championship Season Review is proudly brought to you by Ford, Nissan, Toyota and Bankfun. If it moves, we'll finance it. The Barberspun 500 was the opening round of the championship, and Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser pair Arpi Reinicke and Robin Houghton survived the stunking in the prologue to win the event after starting at the back of the field. Neil Woolridge and Kenny Scholthammer nursed the overheating Ford Racing Ranger, which also had gearbox problems, home into second place ahead of Marius Boersma, who was third in Class T. Tasker farmers Piet Harsbroek and Christo Bosch finished third overall and won Class D in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser ahead of brothers Henry and Maurice Zermatten in the PlayStation Pajero. Veteran Cassie Garcia and Oki Fourie picked up the Class E win in the Castrol Toyota Condor, with father and son Hugo and Jaap de Bruin second in a Toyota Hilux. Frick Mulder and Willie Jordan won the new Class F for two-wheel drive vehicles in ex-Walker Evans V8-powered Chev. Toyota drew first blood by winning 3 of the 4 production vehicle classes, with Class D entries dominating the top 10 places.
It was my lucky day, and we had a quite clean run today. No problems on the car. We had a couple of wrong slots, and that was that. But we were leading before halfway through the race, and we kept our lead all the way, and everything just went well for us today.
Atang Makhakaneni and Paul Andre scored a debut win in the special vehicle category after a race-long battle with John Weir Smith and Tony George in the O'Hagan's Kopanong Hotel Jimco, who had to settle for second. Terence Marsh and Trevor Ayer in the Nashua Mobile Jimco finished third in Class A. Gavin Gray and Brian Scott finished fourth in the category and picked up the Class B win in the process, with fellow Italian Marcus Taylor and Mark de Chalane finishing second in Class B in the Truck Time JRE. A storming drive from Greg Dowse and Trevor Ormerond saw the Nashua Mobile Racing pair finish third overall and first in Class S, with Mohammed Noor from Botswana second in the new class for vehicles with trailing arm front suspensions. A fine debut win for Makhakaneni and Andre, a great drive from last to second for Weir Smith, and a leaderboard dominated by Class B and Class S entries.
And I'm very pleased with myself, my crew, my mechanic, everybody else who's here with us, my navigator here, and my son who came for the first race with us. I think it's a blessing that he came.
The next stop was KwaZulu-Natal for the Nissan Sugarbelt 400. Toyota dominated the top places in the production vehicle championship after 3 class wins on the Barberspun 500, and the rest would have to play catch-up. And catch-up they certainly did. Reigning champions Genil de Villiers and Francois Jordan made up for their retirement on the Barberspun 500 by romping to victory in the Nissan Hardbody. Teammates Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek made it to Nissan 1-2 when they finished second, just over 4 minutes behind the leaders. Harsbroek and Bosch finished third overall and first in Class D and added a rich haul of points to their tally. Duncan Foss and Mike Griffith finished second in Class D in the Nissan Hardbody and were followed home by Mark Corbett and John Moore in the Isuzu. Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham made up for their non-finish in Barberspun by winning Class E in the Ford Racing Ranger, while Hugo and Jaap de Bruin in the Toyota Hilux finished second. Nissan dominated their own event and walked off with 2 class wins. Ford picked up the spoils in Class E, and the Barker and Van Pheelen Land Rovers rounded out the top 10.
Conditions it was good. There was a bit of dust with us catching the back markers and stuff, but overall it was actually a brilliant day. It was a very nice day, so it was great for Bankfun off-road racing.
Interesting to see Class B and Class S vehicles occupying 7 of the top 10 places in the championship after the Barberspun 500. Weir Smith and George made up for their disappointment on the Barberspun 500 by trouncing the opposition in the O'Hagan's Kopanong Hotel Super Team Jimco. Harvey and Stone were second in the Lexus-powered Jimco. Reigning Class B champion Gil, Mr. Consistency Nell, won Class B in the Luck Africa Truggy and was followed home by local driver Gerald Mandel in the Raceco. They were the only 2 Class B finishers. Dowson Ormerod finished third overall and again won Class S in the Nashua Mobile Raceco with local crew Billy Bond and Anton Lombard second in the Prolong Raceco. The Class A vehicles had finally come into their own and occupied 6 in the top 10 places at the end of a very tough event.
I think it was a 4x4 race, most definitely. The sugarcane fields were very, very slippery, but it was really great out there. We got one puncher and we lost our jack, so it was a matter of driving onto rocks to try and get the wheels off the ground to change the wheels. Besides that, it was faultless. It was just a wonderful race, very, very well marked and very well organised.
Brought to you by Ford, Nissan, Toyota and Bankfin. If it moves, we'll finance it.
Highlights of the Bankfin Off-Road Championship in On the Limit this Sunday at 1 p.m. on SABC 3.
Nissan, Toyota and Bankfin. If it moves, we'll finance it. The next stop was in Botswana for the Toyota 1000 Desert Race. And after 2 events, Haasbroek and Bosch found themselves in a comfortable championship lead. Interestingly, the Class T Brigade lagged far behind. This time it was the turn of veterans Grobler and Leek to win in the Nissan hardbody, after teammates De Villiers and Jordan blew the motor on their Nissan. Woolridge and Scholthammer had a steady run in the Ford Racing Ranger, but had to settle for second. Forson Griffith came from 81st to 4th overall and won Class D in the Nissan hardbody, while PlayStation Pajero crew Henry and Maurice Zermatten edged our championship leaders Haasbroek and Bosch to finish second in Class D. Cane farmers Schroeder and Peckham were in fine form and won Class E for the second time in a row in the diesel-powered Ford Racing Ranger. Hugo de Bruyn and his father Jaap again had to settle for second place in Class E, while Hannes Steen and Ferdy Siegers finished third in a Hilux double cab. Nissan, Ford and Toyota shared the spoils in Class T, with the Class D win going to Nissan and the Class E victory to Ford.
Car was fantastic, crew was fantastic, navigating was fantastic. I don't know about the driver, but we have first, and I'm happy.
Weir Smith and George and Dowson Ormerod shared the Special Vehicle Championship lead after 2 events, with the ever-consistent Gil Nel not far behind in third place. Dowson Ormerod stormed to victory in the Nashua Mobile Raceco and picked up the Class S win too. They were followed home by past Toyota 1000 winner John Lambert and Stephen Parker in the Digidor. Greg Harvey and Boy Stone were the first of the Class A vehicles across the line, with father and son Bodo and Gary Berthold in the M&E Glass Black second in Class A and 4th overall. Class B was won by Marcus Taylor and Mark de Chalane in the Truck Time JRE, who edged out Gil Nel in the Luck Africa Truggy. It looked as if Nel had bet his match and Taylor and de Chalane would have to pull out all the stops to retain his title. Surprise performances from 2 of the older Class S entries. A well-earned third in Class A for John Moore and Fred Werner in the ex-Sepec Chenoweth.
It's a long race. All thanks go to Nashua Mobile's team. We had an unbelievable team. With such a long event like this, you need to have all the support you can get, and we had that today. Fantastic.
Round 4 was the O'Hagan's Kopanong Hotel 500 in the Mafeking area. Haasbroek and Bosch had a tenuous lead over Forson Griffith in the Production Vehicle Championship, and the de Bruyns had slowly edged their way into the top 3. There was no stopping the Nissan onslaught. This time out, De Villiers and Jordan won in the Nissan hardbody, and Woolridge and Scholthammer again had to settle for the runner-up spot in the Ford Racing Ranger. Duncan Force and Mike Griffith again won Class D in the Nissan hardbody and were followed home by Mark Corbett and John Moore in the Century Property Development's Isuzu, and Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo in another Nissan hardbody. Schroeder and Peckham again won Class E in the Ford Racing Ranger, but were chased hard throughout the event by Hugo and Jaap de Bruyn, who again had to settle for second. The Class F win went to Paolo Piazza Musso and Scott Abraham in the O'Hagan's Kopanong Hotel Super Team Jeep. A podium finish for Forson Griffith and a fine 4th overall for Schroeder and
Class D and E entries dominated the top 10 positions.
second loop, we really went without any hassles, and we're just glad to win again.
Das and Ormerod had moved into a seemingly unassailable lead after their Toyota 1000 victory, with Gil Nel still very much in the hunt in the Class B leading Luck Africa Truggy. Brothers Gerhard and Lawrence du Plessis acquired the Barberspun 500 winning Jimco from Makhakaneni and chalked up their first overall win in the special vehicle category, ahead of Makhakaneni and Alex Sally in the Sam Racing Jimco. Taylor and Deschalaine cruised to another Class B win in the Truck Time JRE and were followed home by Warren Clasten and Kim Dixon in the Nasho Mobile Ratflow, with Gerald Mundell third. Frikkie Botha took advantage of Das's retirement to win Class S on the Santon Off-Road Accessories Wingfoot. Richard Carolyn and Jeff Minute finished second in Class S in the O'Hagan's Kopanong Hotel Super Team Raceco. Class A vehicles occupied the top 5 places, with Taylor and Deschalaine the only Class B entry in the top 10.
Ons het 'n bietjie verdwaal vanoggend en 'n pap wiel gekry en toe die tweede helfte nou het ons bietjie toe Atangas voor ons toe hy net 'n rongslot gemaak en toe kon ons verbygaan.
Brought to you by Ford, Nissan, Toyota and Bankfin. If it moves, we'll finance it.
Buckle up, my friend. Don't miss highlights of the Bankfin Off-Road Championship On the Limit this Sunday at 1 p.m. on SABC 3.
Return it for a full refund, no questions asked. To get your AB Energizer system...
Brought to you by Ford, Nissan, Toyota and Bankfin. If it moves, we'll finance it. The Bankfin Off-Road Championship had reached the midway point with a new event, the Toyota Dealer 400 at Sun City. Voss and Griffith still topped the championship log, with the De Bruins well placed in second, but the wheels appear to have come off for Haasbroek and Bosch. There was no stopping the Villiers St. Jordan as they cruised to yet another overall win in the all-conquering Nissan Hardbody. They were followed over 7 minutes later by teammates Hannes Pobler and Richard Leek. Between them, they had won 4 of the 5 events. Voss and Griffith finished 5th overall and won Class D for the 3rd consecutive time in the Nissan Hardbody. The former touring car driver had certainly come of age. Marius and Tracy van Vieren had been consistent performers in the Alboranti Land Rover and were rewarded with a 2nd in Class D. Nissan made a clean sweep of the classes when brothers Yuri and Andre du Plessis won Class E in the BB Auto Nissan Hardbody, ahead of Piet Jennis and Kutsia Labaskachny in the N1 4x4 Toyota. Overall victory and 3 class wins for Nissan in the Toyota Dealer 400 at Sun City, and another podium finish for Woolridge and Scholthammer in the Ford Racing Ranger.
We had a bit of a moment on the last lap where we overshot the corner and we got stuck in a tree. And for some other reason, I couldn't get the car into reverse gear. It was stuck in the forward gears, and we panicked a bit. We lost about 5 minutes there. Eventually, one of the space frame guys appeared there, and we begged him just to tow us out. I must thank him because if he wasn't there, I mean, it would have certainly cost us the race. Sure.
Consistency was the key to Greg Harvey and Boy Stone moving into the Special Vehicle Championship lead, but Das was an ever-present threat. The Vormeranstad-based du Plessis brothers waltzed to another victory in the Mobile Jimco and finished well ahead of 2nd-placed Harvey and Stone in the Queen Motor Spares Jimco, who in turn finished ahead of Makhakaneni and Sally. Despite brake problems, Greg Das and Archie Rutherford again dominated Class S in the Nasho Mobile Raceco and well clear of their nearest rivals Billy Bond and Anton Lombard in the Prolong Raceco. Class B again went to Marcus Taylor and Mark Deschalaine in the Truck Time JRE, with Gil Nel and the Luck Africa Truggy 2nd. Jimco's filled the top 4 places with the drive of the race coming from Weir Smith, who started 10th and finished 4th. Gert and Lucille du Plessis, who have a combined age of 113, finished 7th overall.
Ja, laatste wedstrijd het ons 1 pap wiel gehad. Verloor ons op 5 minuten. Vanoggend dezelfde story, 1 pap wiel gehad. 5 tellen ze weer op. Dat was lekker.